Welcome to another episode of the AI Lab Unfiltered podcast. I am Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Terryn from New Wave.
That's me.
We're going to talk about all things AI today.
We are.
I say that every day, but today in particular, we're going to talk about AI.
We really are. Yeah.
I want to start by saying we are in beautiful Studio Jefferson, right outside Grand Rapids. And it's just a beautiful studio. It's a beautiful production team here. We are powered by Think Tank Thought Leadership. They are the production staff and producers of our show. We couldn't live without them. They handle our social. They handle all of our editing, all of the production. They handle getting our guests arranged. We, like Pete says, we just show up and have fun and talk about AI. They handle everything else. If you're looking to do a podcast, I can't stress it enough. Talk to Think Tank Thought Leadership. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can hit us up directly. We'll talk about them as well and kind of guide you and kind of give you our thoughts and feedback of what we did to make it happen and make it special.
Yeah, it's such an awesome team to work with too. Just so great to work with. And if you want to be cool, have a podcast. And if you're going to podcast, do it here with Think Tank Thought Leadership.
That's exactly right. We're going to talk today about AI adoption and process in small businesses. And we're going to get hands-on with some stuff. We're not going to build anything, but I would love to. We're going to talk about how to get hands-on in some of the stuff that has been done and how it's being used in small business. And today's guest is Marcel Meyer from Array of Engineers. Welcome, Marcel.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Glad you are here. So let's talk. Give a little intro of who you are, what you do. I guess let's put some context around it first.
So I'm Marcel. I work at Array of Engineers. We are an engineering company. I was trying to think of how to explain us, but we've been around for about 8 years. We do a lot of hardware design, software design, also automated testing. So we work in industries like safety critical systems with aerospace, as well as defense, IoT, stuff like that. I personally do a lot of web development work. I've worked on IoT projects, some of our automated testing. I also develop an internal app that we use. I guess you could call it an ERP, I think it might be called, but nice. We use it for like budgeting, planning, financial stuff, project management, all kinds of stuff. So that's really helped me explore AI, especially in the terms of software development. So,
yeah.
That's been a great.
Yeah, you guys do a lot of, I guess in my terms, in my layman's terms, a lot of highly scientific projects.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I've talked to a couple of people over there, and it's very specific. Yeah, like you said, high security Internet of Things type of devices and like mission critical type pieces. Mm-hmm. It's a very unique company. It's an interesting company on top of it. So you said you built a kind of an ERP system for use internally.
Yep.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. So we started this maybe in 2021. It was really just meant to manage like our inventory. We do some manufacturing of different things, and we like a Google sheet tracking the parts we have in the house. And I was like, we can do this better. I didn't have any really formal web development background. I'm a computer engineer. So more like microcontrollers, things like that. But sure. I really started getting into web development because it was like this really fun. We had a project at the time I got to learn on. And I was like, hey, we can build these tools ourselves. Of course, there's maybe always something that you could use off the shelf, but we're really kind of hands-on people. We like to control kind of what we're doing. And that's really ballooned into this tool that we use constantly. A lot of us are using it every day. So it's, it started with that inventory stuff and kind of turned into our project managers are using it every day. Nice. to track like, okay, these people are working these hours, and just the regular engineer in our company will look at it to see what they're planning to work on. We have a duplicate of the Wordle game on there that everyone participates in. So just things like that, we get to have fun and build things ourselves and control everything. So
Now, did you stack the deck with Wordle so you win every time?
I did make it during lunch, like 30 minutes a few years ago, and I really
Nice.
haven't modified it much since. And somebody can, inspect the browser and they can see the list of words. So I think we could improve it, but let's just keep it fun.
So you built this, you said 2021. Did you use any kind of AI tooling for that? Or is it, because it seems like it was before like it became super popular or any tools that came out at that point?
Right. No, it was all just me. Some other people have worked on it since then, but I've written the majority of the code for it, and it was all just me designing it and working with stakeholders in our company who need to use it and building it out. So I really didn't start any sort of AI assisted development until honestly this past year, and really the last 6 months using Cursor I've really gotten into, and that's been amazing. So
Nice.
it really has accelerated what we can produce. And, I've written a lot of the code, but I don't really feel like I need to write a lot of the code anymore. I just want to produce something. So I can sit in a room with stakeholders in our company, and you could call it vibe code. I'd prefer to call it something else, I guess, at this point. It's more strategic than that to me now, but we can sit in a room and build features together instead of having a weekly meeting. Okay, I'll come back to you in a week or two, so that's been amazing.
Yeah, I'd love to dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Cursor.
Mm-hmm.
Can you just describe for the listeners who might not know what that is, kind of what that tool is and how you're using it?
Yeah, so Cursor is a fork, I think, of VS Code, Visual Studio Code, which is just an editor where you would write code in. If you don't know anything about coding, it would be like Microsoft Word or something like that, a way to actually write code. So VS Code has these features now, but Cursor has benefits to it that VS Code doesn't have. I think it's better at certain things. Like I might be writing some code and it has really powerful auto completion. So like I can just hit tab and it finishes what I'm writing. I don't have to write it all out. So that's a really quick, easy way to speed things up, especially when you write the same kind of code a lot. But now they have these agentic features where I'm really heavy into like having it plan out what I'm going to do. So I have it connected to our task management system where I input like, hey, we have this user story about like I need to add this feature. So I can ask Cursor to pull that user story that I've written out and said like, hey, we need these requirements and things like that. Build a plan for me. So then it'll go and build a plan and I can read through the code it's actually going to write beforehand. This helps that I know the code base super well because I've written most of it. But I can read through and see what it's going to do beforehand to make sure that I agree with it, and usually can go back and forth with it. So I guess maybe I'm skipping a step. You're basically just chatting with it. It's like you're using ChatGPT, but you're inside of your code editor.
So your example of writing your Wordle on lunch, not that anybody requested this feature, is probably just something you came up with, right? But if somebody did come to you and say, hey, it'd be really cool if we had our own version of Wordle, it'd be array of engineerdle. I don't know if that we would call it. Could you build that in? Yeah. So you would collect that information, that conversation. One way, actually, I don't know if you do this or not, but you could record that conversation and take a transcript, right? And you could give that transcript to Cursor and say, this is what I want to build. It would do a preliminary build for you that you could go back and review and say, okay, yeah, that's what I said. And then you can make adjustments from there, not by writing actual code, which you could do, but you could just say, no, make the color brown, and it would just go do it without you having to edit the code. Is that fair to say it works like that?
Correct, okay. Yeah. And actually what you said about recording a meeting, that is something I'll do. We had one of our teammates wanted to improve one of our processes for tracking something with some of our production. And again, we had like a Google Sheet that had a bunch of information. He's like, hey, we can do this better. Let's get it into the portal. That's what we call our web application, just the portal. So I was able to just have a meeting with him, talk about the requirements. I took that transcript, dumped it into Cursor along with some other just basic info I had, built me a plan. I had him a working prototype in like a week, and that's on top of working on other things, right? In the past, that might have taken, I don't know, a few weeks for me to do it at least, and I honestly had something working within a day or two of using Cursor. So
how much are you guys recording meetings and stuff at BizStream? Is that something you guys have widely adopted yet?
Pretty much every meeting.
Okay.
We have the G Suite, Google. So we use Gemini, which because we use Google Meet.
Yep.
It's easy just to go click and there it goes. It'll transcribe it. It'll record it. It'll do whatever you want. Or we'll use, some of us have a subscription to, oh gosh, what is it? There's not Otter. Is it Otter AI?
Yep. There's Otter.
Yeah, there's Otter AI. And then there's other programs that are Otter something that we use too. But for meetings, Otter AI, I got a subscription to that. That does a really good job too. That's more just the transcribing and the transcription of it, not necessarily the meeting recording itself. But for me, I do it for every meeting now.
It's awesome.
Even internal meetings, I do it.
It does such a good job. So many times you get distracted in a meeting because somebody's saying something and you're furiously writing down the notes.
Wait, what'd you say?
Yeah. Sorry, I was writing something down. And for anybody that's not recording meetings or conversations that you want to, use later on, such a powerful tool, and it gets time. It's very, very accurate. So I love that application. And you guys, when you're talking to a client about what they want to have built, you don't have to go back and, I can't even read my own writing sometimes.
Right.
And you have that great transcript and you just feed it right in and it will build something based off of just that transcript.
Now, I wouldn't even call it a drawback. I would say the only, in addition to that I do, is I'll typically have either a notepad and a pen, or I'll have just literally my notepad app open on my computer to jot down just some key points if they're running through stuff, because obviously it's recording on the background.
Yep.
But you can't read it in front of you. I'm not reading it in front of me if everything it's recording. So if I go, okay, now you mentioned these two items, I'll have to just refer back to a couple of points on there.
Yeah.
But it records everything. So at the end, I don't ever really have to go back to those notes. I just use the notes we all talked about.
One word of caution. So we were conducting a meeting with a client. It was a 4-hour meeting. And we had this device, it's called the Owl. And it's got multiple cameras on it. And it's super cool. And it will do the same thing. It will record and transcribe. And about 2 hours into that meeting, I wasn't taking any notes. And I was like, oh shit, what if this thing's not recording? So I think as a fallback, you should at least be taking some high level notes, maybe just to kind of have an idea. So if you did have to go back to jog your memory, because now
especially a long meeting like that gets scary.
Yeah, very scary. I was like, oh my, and I couldn't say anything in front of the client, of course. So the next one that we're doing another one on Friday, and then we're going to have two different things recording at the same time.
Two owls?
Have some redundancy. Well, we're doing it in Teams. So Teams does the same thing. So if you're a Microsoft shop, Teams will do it. And a lot of them now will automatically summarize the meeting, key takeaways, to-dos, and things that come up during the meeting without you having to go back and ask for it. So anybody that's not using that tech now should really be.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, I've been using Granola. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one.
No,
but,
I haven't heard of that one.
I haven't tried the Otter one. I've heard of that, but Granola, same thing you're saying. It works amazing. I don't even take a notebook into the meeting. I know you're saying have a fail safe. I probably should, but a lot of my meetings are shorter and they're about development stuff. And Granola has a chat in it, so I don't know if Otter does, but I can go back and chat with it. Which is why I'm not taking my notes, right? I'll have a meeting about what feature do we need to build this week. We'll take that example of my coworker who wanted to implement something in our portal, and we had a meeting, and I'm like, okay, just give me the action items from this meeting, right? So that I don't have to think about it during the meeting. I'm just focused on what he's telling me. And that's been extremely powerful. I find their summaries are fantastic. I think we can get into this, but I've explored some local LLM options, and it is amazing how refined some of these off-the-shelf tools are, right? If I go and try and take a meeting transcript and summarize it myself, trying to build that prompt and all maybe the filtering they're doing on your transcript, it is amazing the quality of the product that they've given you.
I have trained myself too so it takes better notes categorically. Is we're trying to build a website or an application or something, and I'm talking with a client. I'll specifically go in and say, okay, now let's talk about your goals and what all goals you want to achieve in this, versus just tell me what you want to do with this. So I specifically say that so it picks it up. So it says, oh, here's where we're talking about goals. What are the specific timelines? What are the specific requirements that you need? So key words that I'll throw in there so it records it.
Yep.
And then, like you say, you go back in the chat feature and say, okay, give me all the list of the needs that we talked about. Here's a whole list of them. Here's all the goals that you talked about.
That's really smart. That's a really smart way to do it. Yeah.
So, and I've also had other people that are on the phone call say, yeah, Drew, here's a note for you. Here's a to-do, a task for you. And it's like, it works.
It works.
It works perfect. Or I'll say, jot this down as a task for Drew to follow up with this client in a week or something like that.
Yep.
So let's talk about the difference of, coding in 2021 versus, the last 6 months of really getting into Cursor. What kind of a difference have you seen in your output and the quality of what you're building?
So I think quality is a big word. People argue like if we're vibe coding, it's just AI slop, right? You have to make sure you're reviewing stuff. So I think with the process that I've taken where you're planning stuff, I make sure to have really small PRs, like make sure the task the feature we're building is very small so I can quickly see the difference in the code. That helps me keep on top of it. But I think my productivity and output in terms of the amount of things I've built is just skyrocketed. We always have ideas about what can we add to this app. And I'm like, well, I don't have time. Right now I just happen to have more time to dedicate to it. I'm not working on as many client projects, but just the ability to have an idea and within a week, okay, here's this working thing you guys can use is amazing. So, I love to code, but I also like to just make things and have them done. So,
Exactly.
I can still code if I want to, but we're here to build tools. So to me, using AI to assist me in that is amazing. So.
I love that point because we talked on here a lot about AI replacing jobs and things like that, especially with what you guys do and what BizStream does. I think it just gives you the ability to get to those other features of that software that you never would have got to before. It was a lower priority, but it was going to be a really nice to have, not a need to have. And you can get to those things now because you can iterate so quickly and you can vibe code them into existence. There'll be a new term for that. It has a bad connotation, but for people like me, it's life-changing because I can talked about this previously today in another episode where I can just go and speak to the software and it will mock up something that I can show to somebody because it's hard to explain what it might look like or what it might do. But if I can just mock that up by talking to it or typing, it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. People take approaches of like, build me 3 options of this, right? And you can choose which one. I don't do that as much because I feel like I know what I want it to look like. But I think going back to just our CEO, Stacy Paul, is really pushing for us to kind of investigate AI stuff, which is great, to have your leadership team be just all in on this stuff.
Yeah. That's a big difference right
really
there.
Is.
Yeah. But she's a big stakeholder in this portal. And just a few days ago, I'm sitting with her in a room and we're just coding together. It's, I was thinking about, I was like, we've been having meetings like this for years, and to be able to do this, we could have done it months ago, but we're here and we're doing it, and it's the excitement that she has for it is great, and it's just really cool.
Yeah, shout out to Stacy.
Yeah.
Did you have a curve of that adoption in the beginning though? Like with our team, and we got hella developers.
Yep.
Not saying you guys don't, but just I absolutely love our team, and they love coding, they love developing, and then all of a sudden this tool comes out, and I wouldn't even say it was a threat to replace their job. They're just going, yeah, but I like doing that part. I like writing that code.
Right.
And it took a while for them to go, oh, but I get this isn't going to completely replace all the fun stuff I do. It's going to enhance what I do. Yes, there's going to be a lot more review of code, but I can still, like you said, I can still fill in those gaps. I can still code where I need to code in there. It just gets my product done. It was almost a change of focus of it's not the journey, it's the end product that we're after. And if we can do that faster, it almost shifted where that pride goes. I just wonder if you guys had the same thing, because like I'm a woodworker. I know I can get a CNC machine and build everything I'm building, but I don't want to. I want to do it by hand.
Yep. I like your point of I'm emphasizing this, right? Focus on outcomes. I'm
Yeah.
not as focused on how I'm doing it anymore. But I will say, I think the work I do is not quite different, but we don't do a lot of web development normally with a lot of our projects.
Sure.
We're usually doing automated testing of things, like a lot of Python coding, embedded development or hardware design. So I think I've been on this journey, if you could call it, like to try and investigate, what is out there, what can we use? And I think a lot of our teammates are not using these tools yet. And that's for different reasons, whether or not, they can use them or not, depending on the environment they're in. We do a lot of defense work and we're in their environment. So it's like, what is available there?
Yeah.
But I think as we go into the new year, I think that's a huge focus of ours of how can all of our teams utilize things like this, whether it's coding or not. But I mean, the power of just the coding tools alone is something that everyone should be looking at, especially in my company. I can't get on enough tables and yell loud enough. Like, hey, let's do this. Like, you don't have, I'm not telling you have to write every line of code with this, but just even if you're debugging something or just asking it something about your code base, like this can do something for you that'll make you better at your job.
Yeah, exactly. And having it come from leadership in the beginning just makes it a top down, just unifies everybody. That was one of the biggest game changers for us to change that perspective. Was Mark and Brian are so into it that they're going, no, we got it. Here's why. And then people are like, oh, now I get why we're doing this. It wasn't just an individual basis.
Yep.
Yeah, I think if you're a business owner and you're or a leader in an organization, you're listening to this, you cannot underestimate what executive sponsorship means for AI in your organization. And there's sort of both companies are fortunate to have you guys along with the owners and senior leadership, along with people internally that are championing this and jumping on tables and screaming at people like you use this. Like that will get you going so much faster and further and faster.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for both of you guys, going back to, talking about the focusing on the end result versus the journey to get there, because that velocity is important. Mm-hmm. And what do you guys talk about, like, because there's lots of companies that can do that kind of work, right? The competition. So if I'm a client and I'm talking to Array or I'm talking to BizStream and I'm talking to company X, and you guys tell me you can get there in 2 weeks, and company X tells me it's going to take 2 months and it might even be more expensive. Well, it's pretty obvious who I'm going to go with, right? Yep. So, as much as you've got people that want to, whittle their own wooden statue,
right,
who's going to buy it if somebody can get me one so much faster and likely less expensive, right?
Yep.
For us, it really comes down to exactly that. The end client they don't care how the sausage is made. No, they just want to know that it's quality and it tastes good at the end. That's all they care about. So the process is so internal that you just want to make sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. How you do that can vary. Are you using AI? Are you doing it yourself? But then that cost comes in. That this is going to take 2 months longer. This is going to take $200,000 more.
Yep.
That's where the rubber hits the road, and you will lose to that competition that's going, no, I can make the sausage taste just the same, and I'm going to use AI doing it. So I think it's forcing a lot of people to look at it to go, we need to adopt. This is not a question of do we want to help us. We have to stay competitive and weave that into your competitive advantage. Again, it's still a tool. So your unique qualities of what makes you, now coupled with AI enhancing that, really just propels it forward. I got to imagine it's the same way with you guys, with the markets you guys are in and what you guys can offer.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, again, we're at the very early part of this for our company, but, let's take aerospace, for example. That's a number of our projects are in the aerospace world. And we're looking at one for next year and we're evaluating, how can we use AI to speed us up? We have one of my teammates is working on prototyping some stuff to take some of the requirements and just make them, the requirements are like images, right, of like these logic diagrams.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect use case for AI, right? And how can we translate that to something that we can build test cases faster with? And there's a lot of things that have to do with the requirements that I'm not up to speed on, but I know that we're actively seeking, like, how can we do this work quicker? How can we deliver this faster, right? I think a lot of people might think, well, aerospace and AI, those things shouldn't go together. I shouldn't have a plane built by AI or something like that.
Right.
But there's definitely ways you can do it. So we're looking at it there. I think anytime we're going to approach a new project, we're going to think about how can we use AI to make us better at this and faster. So,
well, if AI is going to be piloting all the planes in the future, you might as well have it building it too.
I would say that's scary, but we keep talking about the doctor AI thing, and now that the results are better now with AI, and in some cases, I wouldn't say all cases yet. So I don't know. Is AI going to be more accurate? I don't know. I guess it's too early to tell, but I'm not willing to get on the prototype plane. I can tell you that.
What about a driverless Waymo? Would you do that?
Yeah, I would do that. Most of them that I've seen are just like the local bar hoppers where you're on it to go to the next bar. So it's not going super fast or anything. But then you go Tesla on the highway in the auto drive. I've been in one of those too. And that's damn impressive.
It is.
So 70 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour in a Tesla, it's driving you everywhere. Yeah. When I was first in one, which wasn't that long ago, by the way, a guy at work's got one. And he lives around the corner from me, and I needed a ride home. My car was falling apart, so I was like, "Can I get a ride home?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll have it drive us." And he literally, when we left the parking lot for the next 25 minutes, he just hit go, and it just weaved through the local roads. It made all the 90-degree turns. 4-way stops. It knows when to go. It was impressive. It was scary, but it was impressive at first. But by the time I got to my house, I was used to it, that it wasn't as scary. It was just more impressive than anything.
I feel like flying is even easier. You're not going to run into anything up there, right? There's no 4-way stops.
Well, the ground comes up awfully quick if something goes wrong, though.
Yeah.
I think what you're talking about there with the Tesla kind of speaks to maybe challenges that I'm seeing at my company with people have perceptions of AI, right? And I think a lot of my coworkers are maybe early in their journey as well with AI. And, it's my job to kind of show you, hey, these are some use cases. This is what we can do with this, right? Like, I've been talking to people like, why are you not using VS Code's agentic coding? Well, I have this anecdotal story of this one specific thing, and that turned this person off from it, and that's nothing wrong with that person, but how can we show these people that this is going to make your life a lot better?
Right.
Just experience it once and see what it can do. So
we talked about how you have support from Stacy, so top-down support for it. We talked about how important that is. Do you have a systematic approach to getting wider adoption, or is it just Stacy saying, please use it and report back with your success stories? Like, what does adoption look like there? How are you guys approaching that?
I think it's slowly kind of being more formal, right? Like, we've been doing a lot of workshops lately for like defining certain roles in our company. Our company is about 8 years old, I think, in January. And we're trying to formally define like our project manager role and like what are the characteristics you need for that and what are your actual responsibilities. Like we all kind of know what those things are, but we want to actually formally define them for a variety of reasons. But we've been doing a lot of workshops internally, like mural workshops and things. And, I've been able to help the people leading these workshops to plug the outputs of those workshops into ChatGPT and form like personas and things that we can actually build on and save as our output of these workshops. So trying to integrate it into just regular company process meetings like that has been really helpful. But in terms of like formal like AI strategy or something like that, we really don't have one yet. I think that's kind of what we're hoping to do in the early part of 2026. Like we don't have an AI guidance policy. It feels kind of bad to say, I guess, but we just aren't there yet, right?
Totally get it, though.
It's not bad to say. Yeah. Even the fact that you're talking about one puts you ahead of most
great
companies.
Start.
Yeah. And I mean, you can literally have AI write that policy for you. We did that. I would say for anybody listening, have your lawyer look at it after you've built it. But I mean, AI wrote ours. I also would say revisit it every couple of months because the new technology comes out that you want to account for. We're getting onto our third iteration of ours that I'm working on right now because when the tech changes, as soon as what we haven't accounted for recently is now that ChatGPT and these tools can connect to like OneDrive and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole new thing that you have to account for. So get one in place. AI can help write it, but then keep revisiting it because the technology changes.
Yeah. I feel like every day I'm asking our like cybersecurity IT department, like, hey, can we do this? Like, is this okay?
Yeah.
So there's just a ton of that, and honestly, a lot of the times they don't know immediately, right? It's like, what can we do?
Yeah,
so,
we're all learning at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, things change way faster than we can keep up. So
For sure.
So you mentioned when we were talking before this episode, you mentioned using and building open LLMs. Gosh, if I can use my words,
You're doing good, buddy.
Local LLMs specifically.
Yeah.
Give me some thoughts on what you're doing there.
Yeah, so we do a lot of client work, right? And clients give us their data, and immediately when we see ChatGPT, we're like, well, we don't feel comfortable just putting our customer data into ChatGPT. Maybe eventually, but at this point, we wanted to explore what options were available to not do that. How can we control the data and not let it leave our building, basically? So I started investigating, what's available there. Turns out there's a lot of open source LLMs that you can download just right on your computer. A tool I use is Ollama, which basically you can download the model to your computer and it runs a server on your computer that makes it available for, they have different interfaces. There's one called Open Web UI that you can basically connect directly to it and it runs in your browser. It's exactly like ChatGPT pretty much. But it's also available for like any Python applications we want to write. There's an API available. So we've written some applications to try and test what that can do for us. So I've done something with our project data. So every week, our project managers have to review, like, how was your project going last week, right? So with our portal, I built some API endpoints that this Python app can hit and pull data from our weekly report from last week for each project, and then use our local LLM to summarize that data and build just a summary of each one, which has been helpful. I think that takes a lot of refinement, right? One thing I've kind of experienced is there's so many things I want to try, and people talk about like quick wins, right? I've heard that a million times. I'm kind of sick of hearing about quick wins. I think that's great, but what do we do after our quick win, right? So like I have a quick win by making a summary of my project report that my project manager is kind of happy with. It looks good, but is that actually useful long term? Maybe not. I'm going to need to spend quite a bit more time on it to make it actually useful. So I think that's kind of something we've been hitting, right? Like, we do these things and we see this quick output, but what do we do after that? So I think that's kind of a long tangent from where you started, but I think the local LLMs have been really, really excellent in just how easy they are to use. I was extremely surprised. Okay, I just have to download a model and it just runs the API immediately. Like, as a developer, that's amazing. Like, I don't need to even know what an LLM is. I can just type Ollama pull this model and it just pulls the whole model down. So actually last week we got a Mac Studio, which is just a beefier version of a MacBook, basically, to run some of these higher power models. Like OpenAI has a 120 billion parameter model, which is still much smaller than using ChatGPT, but for something you can run locally in your office, that is fantastic. So we wanted to explore what we can do with that, and so far it's been great. So that Open Web UI, we haven't set it up yet, but we'd be able to run that on the Mac Studio as a server, and people in our office can, on our local network, connect to it and basically use it as ChatGPT. Of course, you still want to use ChatGPT for certain things, but if you want to have customer data and upload maybe a customer document, you can do it on here, and that's all within our control, basically. So if you haven't looked into Ollama or open source LLMs, I would highly recommend that, especially in the enterprise world.
Especially for security, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are dealing with some like space shuttle shit, so you can't put that out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to violate a ton of agreements.
Yeah.
So to have still be able to use AI, but use it in a very secure way, that just completely makes sense.
Yep.
versus stuff like Pete and I do. We'll just throw it all in there.
Yeah.
Here's my
Nobody wants
social
to look at
security
our
number,
stuff.
my credit card number, my
Drew-
driver's license.
All of Drew's therapy runs through.
Oh, yeah, it really does.
So there's all kinds of
It really does.
salacious stuff.
Feel free. Everybody have at it.
Also, I'll mention that open source models are certainly behind. Of course, it's not going to be the same performance as ChatGPT 5.2 or Gemini 3. But even I think a few days ago, NVIDIA released their open source, their first open source model, Nemotron. I have it on my computer. I'm trying to make sure I say it right. But so that's super exciting to see a company of that nature release something open source that people can view. I think they released all of the data it was trained on, so you can see that. And that's all open source as well. So big fan of that.
It had been a while since we'd seen domestic companies release open source models. And people think about DeepSeek from China when they think about open models, and people are hesitant to use it because it comes from China and they're worried about spyware and all that, which is kind of impossible to do if you're running it locally. Like you control it's local. It's not sending things back to, the Chinese government or anything like that. But now I think Google yesterday or today may have just released something open model wise, or was it OpenAI? It was something after.
I'll have to look immediately after this. Yeah.
So there's just this week, and all these companies do this, right? It's say, can you, if somebody drops something, somebody's always got something waiting in the wings that they can drop, and so they take their media time away from them. But
yeah, it's like these, I'll compare it to maybe like a video game or something. Like you would have these yearly cycles, right, of things you release. So the iPhone's a better example, but now our release cycles are 3 weeks or something.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the best model that's ever been shown. I'm like, it is. It's great. It's amazing. But this happened like 3 weeks ago.
Just wait.
Yeah.
We talked about this in another episode of, people are hesitant to choose a model. Do I go with Google Gemini? Do I go with OpenAI and ChatGPT? Or do I go with Claude from Anthropic? If you just stick to a model, it'll have all the stuff that the other models have eventually. Mm-hmm. It was just within the last couple of days, ChatGPT released a new image model that is supposed to be outperforming the previous Clubhouse leader that was the Nano Banana model from Google. So, because I was leaving ChatGPT, not leaving it, I was still using it. But if I needed image generation, I would then go to Gemini and do that there because it was so much better. Well, now I don't have to leave ChatGPT to create awesome images. So just stick with a model; they'll have all the same stuff.
Yeah,
so you can build your memes.
my memes.
Yeah, I mean, outside of the amazing things AI can do, that image generation is really fun. I think when Nano Banana came out, the Pro version a few weeks ago or a month now, whatever. I could spend hours doing that stuff.
It's incredible.
Turn me into Lego. I did that with my fiance, and I took our engagement pictures and we put them in there, and we're like,
nice.
That's what I look like. My hair looks like that.
Turn me into a Sith Lord. And
Which is funny because someone at work told me we have all this technology. We could use it to solve world hunger. We could solve so many like homeless crises. Instead, we do it to build memes.
Yeah, and it's good at it.
And I'm like, isn't that the fun part?
Yeah, that'll burn some tokens too.
Yeah, well, you get lost in that.
So so you talked about 2026 being, kind of that forward outlook, and how you think you'll be maybe getting more adoption across. So where do you see this going as far as what you guys are doing with it? And are there other plans for maybe building other internal products or anything that you guys are working on? Because business owners that are listening to this say, okay, cool, they've kind of built this ERP thing. That's awesome. Yep. Are there other areas of the business that you're building internally using AI to iterate quickly for different departments?
So right now, I think I already touched on it, was that kind of requirements parser for one of our projects. That might not be the best way to explain it, but that's really the only other area right now.
Okay.
I think looking into 2026, a big thing for us is the majority of our team works on defense projects in the Army space, basically. And just a few weeks ago, they released their own platform where you can finally use generative AI in the defense space, specifically for the Army. which is a huge deal. Right now they have Gemini available, and I think they're going to roll out all the other ones, ChatGPT and Cloud and stuff. And that's a big game changer for our team to, before it's just like, well, we can't use it. I can't put any of this information anywhere. So now that our team has that available, first of all, it's like showing our team what can you do with this? I think some people are like, well, I have this now. What do I do? So that'll be a big focus in the early weeks. But,
wait, so are you saying your team will have access to the same model that the Army is using?
So like we're contracted by the Army or through this whole network, whatever. And we have like Army computers, so we're in their network.
Okay.
So when you work on their projects, in order to do anything with them, because it's all controlled, and make sure that we're not exposing data and having their documents on our computers and stuff, there's a lot of policies in place for that. So since we have their computers, we can access those models as well. So
that's cool.
Yep.
So now I have a request. I just need you to hack that thing, and I need to know if we're reverse engineering spacecraft. I just need to know.
Oh, I'd be interested in that one too.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
I won't tell anybody. Just do a quick check for me and
Come on,
report
Marcel,
back.
you got some people. Come on, let's make it happen.
We follow the rules. Okay. Yeah.
Sure we do.
Wink, wink.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, when it came out, because I think, I Googled it and there was like a press release from like Pete Hegseth or something about it. And, I'm thinking about it like, wow, we get to use this in our meetings now and stuff like that. And other people are like, they're going to build bombs with this. I'm like, I'm worried about how it affects our day to day.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that perspective. But
we've already built pretty good bombs. I mean, let's just build bigger ones, I guess.
That's what they've been doing.
Yeah.
All right, we got to wrap this up. I know it. Once we start getting good, we're talking about aliens now.
I know.
And they're probably building stuff for spacecraft.
I wonder if could we have an AI alien episode? That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be.
I'm going to need you to pull some strings. Get some people.
Yeah, he's got some people.
If you'll have me back, I'll give you some info.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you for being on our show, Marcel. Yeah. This has been cool talking with you. Tell our folks, our viewers, where they can find you.
On LinkedIn. I think I listened to a bunch of episodes of your podcast, and everybody says to find you on LinkedIn. So I'll go with that. You can also find us at arrayofengineers.com if you're interested in working with us, or check us out on LinkedIn. We're pretty active there. So again, I'm Marcel Meyer. Reach out to me if you have anything you want to talk about, a llama, anything like that. So
awesome.
Cool.
Thanks for being on, man.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank
fun
you.
conversation. Thanks a lot.
If you like today's episode, hit the like and subscribe button and leave us a comment on your thoughts of today's topic and what else you want to see.
And if you know anything about aliens or spacecraft,
yes,
please reach out.
Thanks, everybody.